sticking to the Tuesday tradition, I am not playing the music. Although this is not really going to be a teaching stream. I put in my little alert that said, I'm live, that it's a snow day. And that's just kind of a little pun because there's so many things that's not real school about this, right? First of all, the snow was a dusting. We would have traditional school if we had the snow we had this morning. Two, this is not a classroom situation. This is me streaming, right? And three, everybody deserves a day off from teaching, from anything. And I need a day off today. So there is going to be just a little bit of teaching kind of thing at the very beginning. I have my Aura wheel, spinning wheel. It has been giving me all sorts of trouble. It needs just a little bit of maintenance and love and care and that sort of thing. And I'm going to do that first. And then after I get that done, I am going to go ahead and do some spinning on the Aura. Going to be here for 2 hours, and I hope that we have a number of people stop by and say hello. Hello, hello. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. Let me switch to the regular. Ooh, that's bright blue. My camera has been vivid lately. I'm not real sure exactly if it's just the lighting that's in the room now. Right now, the daylight outside and all of that. I am keeping the curtains open behind me over here. You can just see at the shoulder there, I have two peace lilies. They love this spot. They thrive through actually the entire year. Usually my house plants come into the house in the wintertime, but they're out on my front porch during the months of, anywhere from Memorial Day through Labor Day. And these I don't bother moving. They're so happy. They put out flowers, they put out new leaves, and leaves do die or whatever, but they found their home, so I'm letting them stay there. So I keep the window open, especially in the wintertime. There is such limited light there, although this overhead light is on a lot because I pretty much have it on even during the daytime when I'm in here working. That one little window is not really good for doing a lot of things that I like to do in here. So, and I have heard that plants don't mind, especially some of the non-exotic plants or whatever I want to call just your basic house plants. They actually will get the light they need from incandescent light. I don't know if that's true or not, but they hopefully are, and getting a little additional light from that. Anyway, as you can see, I have my Aura here, and it's backwards, right? Right here is where I would be spinning normally with the treadles down there. And what I need to do is fiddle with this screw right here to tighten this maidenhead to the upright, because it is doing that. And if you didn't see, it's loose, right? I may not be able to pull it up, but if you take a look right there, look at that. That shows where I usually spin with it. So now I gotta decide. If I tighten this up where it is instead of up, this band is just way too loose. And this one is okay, but this one being too loose is really hard to fix, because the only way to make this tighter is to screw this knob right here, the tensioning knob, and I've reached my limit, and as you can see, there's still tons of play there. And it's not going to spin. It's not going to pull in when this is not tight. I don't know if, I think this has stretched over the years, And I did look online. I am probably for sure going to buy another one of these. They run about $20 plus shipping. This one here still is very tight, although as right here you can see there are three, and it as I go down like this, I have lots more play. So really what I want to do, of course, is put this all the way down. And this one here, I don't have any way to change. Except for, okay, let me correct myself. I'm going to put this all the way down. So, the black one only gets changed by this knob right here. And this only gets changed by the place, the location of this, pulling this up. They call this one the bobbin, and they call this one just a drive band. I had to look all this up as I was looking for it online. I thought maybe I could buy the two together, but the truth is, the way to buy them together is you buy this whole assembly, which is $350. So I'm not going to do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. I just need the bands. So right now, to fix everything, I'm going to try and see how much I can get this up. I want to keep it on the lowest whirl so that I don't go too tight on the low one. It's only going to get tighter as I go up, so I want to have my setting based on this lower whirl. The other thing is, there are three down here. There are three notches down here. And again, the narrowest is going to be the least resistant. As I go up to you can see the wheel is slanted, and each one puts more and more tension on the band as I go up. So if I did that, I want to make sure that I start here also with the least amount of tension on the band, so that when I get the setting, as I go up, I will get tighter and tighter. All right. So that's basically what I need to do, and I need to make today's the 9th. Okay. Need to make my little bit of notes here for today. For yeah, right. Leave you hanging with that sentence, right? Now, I have tools. I have tools that came with this. I bought the wheel already put together, and for a long time I didn't have to mess with it, right? And what I need is Allen wrench. This is an Allen wrench, and I have to have two sizes. This inner one, which you can't really see, is bigger, and this one is smaller, I hope. Is this going to fit in there, or is it this one? It's not this one, I know that. Nope. Is it this? No. Oh. Let me see. Oh, it is both. I only have one here. Alright. So I can use one that's a little bit too small as hold in place, kind of. Okay? It's just going to hold it in place while I try and tighten against it for the setting, right? So right now, I'm not going to loosen it any. I am going to try and push this up. Oh, of course I lost my Allen wrench. That was silly of me. Let me get that. And now that I have this in place where I normally have had it, let me check the tension. This is doable, right? It'll get tighter, but it's not overwhelmingly tight. This one is very tight. So I have to think if I want to go down a little bit or just go ahead and keep this very tight and not use my tensioning as I'm spinning. It's so hard to go, I just did. I just went just a little bit down. See that? All right. Now, I can't just turn that Allen wrench because it turns this one. And I have to decide which way I want to try and tighten. One of the problems is it really won't tighten anymore. And this is where I'm really running into problems with this wheel right now, is that it doesn't want to tighten. Let me do it this way. And I will confess, I usually ask my husband to do this. All right. I'm not going to mess with that too much right now. I have a feeling it's going to slide again, but this is sort of a preliminary. Let's see if this has helped any at all. And I'm going to see how tight this is. I like spinning on this setting right here is my go-to normal spinning. So if that doesn't work, I'll go out on the wider whorl band place right there. Let's see what's going to happen here. I am having trouble with one particular bobbin. So I'm going to take a bobbin I know has been working. And try that first. I'm doing this slow because I drop it every single time, and I really don't want to break this. I think you have to buy this whole thing if this flyer breaks. That may not be true, but one of the things I was really pleased to find is Magicraft, whether it's this Ara or any of the Magicraft, is really good online providing parts to your spinning wheel. And I like that, because I don't want to have a spinning wheel that I really can't fix if something happens. Now, I will say that a lot of the US vendors are out of stock right now, and I totally get that. That's a COVID thing, I'm sure. I found a place online to order it from Australia. I can't imagine how long that would take. And so, unless one of these bands actually break, I'm not going to order the green one because the green is the least available in the United States. I have found US vendors that say they have the black one. This was the one I think is more stretched, and so I am going to go ahead and replace this black one for sure. Now, I got the wheel a little close to me. Back that up a little bit. This is fine. It's pulling right in. It's absolutely fine. So, I'm going to do I know it works. Now let me try the bobbin been having trouble with. I mean, consistent for months. I have not been able to get this bobbin to work. Not this one. This one. They look the same to me. I cannot figure out why. The next thing if I'm going to try this, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to change the style of leader that I have on it. I'm going to do a regular, just tied leader instead of this lark's foot knot that I use. I use almost on all my bobbins, and the ones that are working, the lark's foot works, but for some reason this one does not, or hasn't been anyway. So let me see here. How it feels about the setting of the wheel now, and if it works, then that's all it was. It won't pull. It's pulling in, but really not. It really isn't pulling in. All it's doing is running twist into it. I will try just a little bit more. And the answer is no, it won't. So, I have no idea why that is. And, like I said, the only thing I can do let go. Oh, that's an interesting knot. There you go. Only thing I can do is try another leader. Let's try another leader and see if that's what it is. I'm using a heavyweight mercerized cotton. I wonder if I can take this off. I don't think so. It's plenty tight. That, that is not slipping at all. Just, it's a really, really good leader to use. So, I have no idea why this isn't working. Of course, the black leader on the black shaft doesn't help at all. I don't think I can. I think I'm going to have to cut it. Okay. That's gone. Now, I am not really good at tying just regular old knots for leaders. I am just not good at it at all. I don't know how this will work. Actually, I think I need to do this so it doesn't go anywhere. There. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty tight. I'm going to go around the other side. Do it that way. Huh. Can't seem to do my finger that way. Maybe it'll be tight enough. Being the second one. Okay. One more. Now, if this doesn't work, if I can't get this to spin on a setup of the wheel where I know the other bobbins work, then I may have to contact Measurecraft and ask them if there's something else that could be wrong with the bobbin. Might be a, I don't know, it's going to, I haven't actually Googled it. When you think about Googling this kind of problem, you know, bobbin will not spin on Aura is going to get me all sorts of, you know, regular setup of a wheel answers, which I don't need. Maybe Googling one bobbin doesn't work when others do. That might work. Now, I need to make a loop here. And all I have to do is start the wheel and see if it pulls in. And not at all. Well, yes it does. Yes it does. Yes it does. It just did. Okay. Okay. Let's do that again. It just pulled it right in my, right out of my hand. Not consistently though. Huh. Nope. That didn't pull in. Huh. Alright. Let's see here. Let me try playing too. Yep. Playing works. That's an improvement. Alright. I'll give it just a little more pull in this way. Come on. Isn't that something? What is it? All right. It won't pull in. It'll ply. But it won't pull in. Won't really ply either. Okay, I am going to try one more thing here. Changing the setting on the green. It is not wrapping the shaft. It's just not going on the shaft. It really has nothing to do with the setting of the wheel. It has everything to do with the wrapping of the shaft. And the two styles of leaders hasn't seemed to fix it. The only thing I can possibly think is this has something to do, oh, my hand's right in the way here, with right here. So there are little pegs that come out of here that the bobbin fits into. The bobbin has holes that the pegs have to go into. Okay. And I don't have any trouble doing that. But as you can see, there's a lot of wear here. There's some play there. And I kind of wonder if maybe this bobbin that's on here is not seating exactly right because of the wear. I'm just thinking that maybe that might be it. Now I'm going to take this one off. And I have notes going here about my wood ones. I've got 1 and 2 labeled, but this one, no label. And I say no label. I do have the weight on there on a piece of tape, but will not spin. Lark's not, or regular leader. Okay, well, I'm going to keep that separate out there and investigate that further. I really don't know. I truly don't have an answer for that. And that's all I'm going to teach today. I mean, that wasn't much teaching, but it's troubleshooting, and don't have an answer. Fortunately, I have 4 more bobbins, and they all work. So I am going to spin Texel today. One bobbin is full. It's got indigo dyed Romney on it. This here is the indigo dyed dark. So I had 2 colors. I had a dark and a light. And what's on the Nitty Noddy is the last of the dark. I have another big skein of, I think, like 280 yards. And so the dark is done. The dark had 11 ounces. The light had 8.8 ounces. And this is 4.4 of that spun. And I have the other 4.4 that I will spin and put on an Ara bobbin, but not today. One of the reasons I have been spinning this extensively, but one of the reasons I don't want to spin this today is there's so much crocking coming off the indigo dye. My hands just turned so blue. I really can't do anything else. And I don't know what exactly I'm going to get into over the 2 hours, so I save this for an only thing I do type time. This is the bobbin I said I know works. And, if I compare them, I see no difference. I see more wear on the one that is working than the one that doesn't work. So I am perplexed. I just have no idea. I don't know. I'm going to put this bobbin on. But the next thing I have to do is I have Texel bats that I want to spin. And I got to weigh the bats so that I can split it and get it divided for a 2-ply. That's not right. I can tell. It's not seated. There we go. Now it's right. There we go. I can tell by this screw right here. It needs to be more there. Alright. Let's be brave and see if this will spin or if I've lost my magic touch. I say spin, but I mean draw in. There it goes. It draws in just fine. And I have it set on. It's pretty loose. I may have to adjust that, but I'm not going to adjust it now. Alright. I'm going to put this over like this so that you can see this. But I am not moving that wheel. Not right now. Alright, so these are Texel bats. They are rough. Alright, this was not picked open before I washed it, so there's lots of yellow from the tips, and some of the tips are still there. It was carded twice. You can see it's real streaky. I left it that way. I'm perfectly happy with that. Let me put a link to where I got the fiber. I think anyway. Let me see. No, that's not the link. Maybe I use Texel. Yeah, that's the link, and it is a YouTube video about the project where they're raising the Texel down in Puerto Rico. And if you haven't already watched it, I certainly encourage you to watch it. It's really interesting. And that's where I got this textile. I did lots of reviews on it. I'm down to the very end of it. This is the last of what they sent me to work with. So I need to weigh this. This here is what it's going, sort of a nice version of what it's going to look like. This is the color it's going to look, okay? They're very off-white because of the yellowing in it. But this here was Lock Spun, and so it's really nice. It's really smooth. I didn't have all that many locks. I had quite a few in the sample. This is 13 wraps per inch, and I have around 69 yards. Not quite 70 yards, which is a nice amount. I like it when I get 60, 70 yards. A nice small skein I can put with something else. So this is going to show you the color that it's going to be, but it's going to be a bulkier, loftier yarn because this is like spinning worsted when you lock spin, and this is going to be spinning woolen. So it's going to be fluffy. Let me get my piece of paper here. Turn my scale on. How many bats do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit. What's the little bit weigh? Nope. I don't get a weight with this little bit. I'll set that aside and use that as I think I need it on the bobbin. Alright. Oh. Hello. Alright, so now my scale's not working. What's up with that? something heavy. Okay, it's now working. Is the stars not aligned today? Or any day? I'll tell you what. I'm pushing buttons. I think that's what happened. I think a bunch of buttons got pushed. Okay, I guess I'll eyeball that. I cannot believe that's not working. I know what it is. I had the lid on. That's what it is. Silly me. Let me turn that off and start over. Let it zero with that on there. That should work. Ah, awesome. 0.14. Now that was easy to fix, fortunately, right? That was easy to fix. This is 0.8. This is 0.74. I need to keep these in order so I know which ones are what weight. This is 0.466. I have one on the floor. When that fell, but I'll get it. 0.704. And the last one. All right, I'm gonna add this up. I have to find my there it is. According to that, I have 3.55, so 3.5 ounces. .78. Okay, so if I take 1, 2, and a little bit, that seems to work. 1, 2, and a little bit, and 3, 4, and 5 on the second bobbin. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Whew. Break time, and I'm ready to spin. I kind of miss the music, though. Oh, well. Not today. So we're almost at Valentine's Day. I sent my mom a heart made out of red roses. She was so tickled. She got it yesterday. She was really happy with that. I sent my grandson Valentine's Day cards that had 3D dinosaurs on them so that if you flip it back and forth, you saw their bones or you saw their body. I thought those were pretty cool. Where's my little bit? Here's my little bit. I have no idea. The reason I'm using the R is because I have no idea how much room this is all going to take up on the bobbin. I didn't want to use the Roberta. Come on, feed in. Oh, yay. I'm going to use just a semi-woolen. It'll work, I think, a little bit better on the bat, but it's not bad. It will have thick and thin, but it's a good way the bits of vegetable matter, which are really tiny, will fall out that way. You get a little bit of loftiness. It makes a pretty bulky yarn, so this is going to be pretty bulky. The hand on this is woolly. It's not exactly next to the skin soft, but I think that actually a hat would be pretty comfortable. I would dye and probably will dye all of this that I have been making out of the Texel. And I could have dyed it ahead of time, but that's when I do a true breed study and am especially telling a shepherd, what I like and don't like about the fiber. I want to keep it in its natural state until I'm all completely done. Oh dear. That's a bump, but that's a clump of hay. Let's see if I can get that. But when vegetable matter gets spun into, there we go. I got it out. That's good. Sometimes it's hard to get that out because the twist is really holding it in, but I got it. This fiber could have been combed also. I would have lost a lot. And so, since it is a good enough hand that I'm pretty sure I can make comfortable mittens or a hat out of it, I wanted to go ahead and get the yardage. I'm being very, very linear right now in my production spinning and in what I want to accomplish with the fiber work. I have this and the indigo dye that I want to finish. I have a bag of odds and ends that I'm going to show here later on when I take a break that I want to spin. And then the next thing, as far as spinning goes, is going to be the passport fibers. I have 5 of them done, and I have others that I need to process. Some need washed, some are already processed, and all I have to do is spin them. All right. This is the back side of the bat. Doesn't look that too bad on camera. When I'm looking at it, when I'm looking at it here, it's like, ugh, there's a lot in there. But some of that will come out as I'm spinning. So I'm just tearing chunks off down the long side of the bat. This was done on my drum carder, not the hand cards. That's why it's a nice big bat. I ran it through the drum carder once and then, I picked it open, I ran it through the drum carder once and then I ran it, broke that bat up and ran it through the drum carder again to get these bats. When I get the shortcuts in there, a lot of times I don't pull them out until I'm playing. Now, it would be nice if I had my camera on the spinning wheel, wouldn't it? Come on, you guys. Anybody watching? Yell at me. Camera! I don't have a moderator. I depend on everybody else to tell me what I'm missing and not doing right. Well, I just looked at my viewers and they're all monitor viewers. I don't have any actual would actually chat with me viewers. So that's why nobody said get on the camera. And that's bad because there's nobody there to tell you, hey, your mic's not on, or move your mic a little closer, or turn the music down or up. I don't have the music on today, but miss that kind of monitor stuff. I think I can tell pretty quick that this is going to fill the bobbin up pretty nice. And it's going to be a really good bulky yarn for a hat or that kind of thing. Scarf. I think it might make a pretty good scarf. I have all this yarn and I need to make stuff. I need to make stuff to donate. I'm thinking that that's possibly one challenge I could set up on the stream for myself, but that means knitting it on the stream, and I want to spin on the stream, so Really am looking for a spinning challenge. The 15 breeds. Oh, I'm not enough pull in here. I'm getting crinkles. The 15 breeds for the passport is a good one for me. It's not a community challenge though, unless other people are doing the passport too and want to join me. It's more of a Discord thing. I think I'll set that up on my Discord. What could I give away? I have to have a prize. Prize would be fiber. Yes, prize would be fiber. If we're not going to listen to music, we might as well listen to the spinning wheel. What happens if I move? Well, I don't want it in the... That should help a little bit. Yeah, you see a little bit of the mic, but... Oh, so is it spring yet? I am so tired of the cold and the snow. We don't have a lot of snow. I'm just really tired of the cold and gloom that the weather we get. It doesn't snow, right? It just is gloomy and rainy sometimes. Not too much, but oh, there's nothing worse than a cold rain. All right, this is really a little bit too much, but I can't find an even just right here. As far as the pull in, I'm just really happy it's pulling in. I will need to do both singles and ply them. I don't know how much I'll get done on stream today, but so that I can empty my bobbin and have it for the indigo, which I want to spin on Sunday during the Sunday stream. I do try and spin during the, non-streaming times. I plied what's on that Nitty Noddy yesterday. I generally get maybe an hour in each day. That's going to come to a halt in March for a couple reasons, but the biggest first one is that at the end of March I'll have my surgery. It will be a while before I can spin on a treadle. I will have to spin on my Roberta, which still means I can spin, but... And then March starts Sock Madness, and I am definitely doing the qualifier sock. I don't know what's going to happen after that, but... I should be able to have that qualifier sock done and out of the way by the time I have my surgery at the end of March. And my surgery's on my knee. All right. I came to a abrupt end here. I need to thin this out. Straighten this out and start over here. It happens sometimes when you're spinning woolen or semi-woolen like I am. Everything just quits in the fiber supply. It all ends at the same time. Right before I got online, I was looking. There is a screen that we fill out before we hit the live button with the title and everything, and that had a place for tags, and I hadn't looked at that for a long time because I was like, I am so tired of the fact that they don't list the tag for spinning, and you can't just type it in there. You have to select what they say. I don't know if the having the Prime for Twitch will allow you to do that. You know, type it in, because I do see spinning as a tag. So I'm not sure. That is what I think anyway is happening, is I don't have the Prime. So anyway, I went through those and I was like, oh, they have added some nice ones. They've got fiber arts now, which that's perfectly fine for me. And knitting and crocheting. So, you know, I put a few tags in there. I don't know if I'll have to do that. I think they'll stay there, and I have to take them out if I don't want to put it in there. And maybe I shouldn't put like knitting when I'm spinning. That might be a little misleading for people who are searching for specific knitting streams. So I don't know. But I was happy to see the more choices. More choices, always good. Along with the fiber work on the actual spinning of, you know, I have it all planned out for the next 6 weeks basically. I have fiber processing planned out. I have two boxes, pretty good size boxes of fiber that needs combing with my big combs. And that's sort of what happens. Things like that gets set aside and I wait until I have a fair amount to do, and then I set the combs up, because they are not something that I keep set up all the time. They share the space with the big drum carder, and so I can set the drum carder down off the workmate, set up the combs, and do the combing, or I'd leave the drum carder up and do the drum carding. After I get that done, any processing I'd have to do is going to be what's needed to be made into whatever bat or top or whatever for the passport. I have some of the fibers that came to me raw, like a Jacob, that I will have to process before I can spin it and submit it. That's pretty much going to take me doing that processing and spinning the fibers that I process and getting the passport done is going to take me right up to just about when Tour de Fleece should start in July. I won't have anything to do for Tour de Fleece. Wrong. Okay, I am really getting over twisted here. Just really over twisted. So, why are you not? Okay, I think I need to slow down the treadling too. Which is kind of hard to do when you're. And I think I'm going to back up a little bit on the fiber supply. Pull out the drafting zone. Make a bigger drafting zone. Try and treadle a little slower. I'm getting bulkier areas though. I'm getting thicker areas that way. Don't like that. I don't mind a thick and thin yarn. I like some consistency though. As far as the thin part, the thick part is just a part that is here and there. But the thin part, I'm having trouble with the thin part on this, and that is a result of it not wanting to pull out of that clump of fiber that I'm drafting out of evenly. A little shortcut just popped right off and went flying. That was funny. It's going to be a quick spin. I've been spinning about 20 minutes here. Still is pulling in really hard and fast. Getting it over twisted. Also, this changed. Let me see if that's this angle right here changed. Let me see if that's the problem. That does affect some of the tension on the drive bands. This wheel is made to fold down so that it is a little more portable, and that fold down sometimes means that the wheel tilts one way or the other. That's what was happening. It's a little bit better. I probably should have combed this fiber on the big combs. Would have been a nicer yarn. Wonder what this yarn would look like if I actually felted it. This bat is nicer. That was a pretty bad bat. Unfortunately, it's all going to end up in that yarn anyway. So, but this bat's really pretty nice. Really nice. That's the way I want the whole thing to spin. You can see. It's drafting out nice. Nice and smooth. It's a joy to spin when it's nice like this. It really is. It's a joy to spin. Hello, everybody. If you're watching this on video on demand or YouTube, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. We're just spinning today. This is a spinning wheel. This is wool in my hands. The wool is Texel from Puerto Rico, and it will eventually be a nice cushiony yarn that will make a hat and scarf, mittens, something like that. I will put it in the dye pot and make it a pretty color. Or maybe a couple different colors. I don't know. Oh, hi, Shirham. Oh my goodness, it's been so long. I'm so glad to see you. How are you? Happy New Year. Is it treating you good? Is it starting out good? Do you have a lot of videos to catch up on? That's okay. I'm not teaching today. I said it's a snow day, which of course it's not really here, but I need a day off from teaching, so we're just spinning Texel. I'm just spinning Texel. I don't know what you're doing. This Texel breed, there was last year during the summer, there was a news blurb about a ram selling, a purebred ram selling for phenomenal amount of money in the quarter million, half a million, something like that. And it was a Texel. That the breed was a Texel. So it was when I saw that, I had done one breed study on the Texel, and I saw that news clip, and I was like, that is just awesome. $1 million fleece. $1 million genetics, that's what it was, really. Sherham says it's been crazy in here. We're getting ready for our kitchen remodel. Uh-oh. But at least I've been spinning again. Well, good. Oh, hate remodeling. Love the results. I went through a kitchen remodel this summer. 2020. Summer 2020. Had a hole in my floor for probably 6 weeks. I mean, literally a great big hole because it was not a remodel. It was this floor is going to fall through to the basement if you don't fix it project. And hubby did. So I'm perfectly happy to put up with the hole since he fixed it. But it's not fun. Our cat would walk into the kitchen, walk over to the hole, and look down at my husband down there underneath fixing it like, okay, this is not normal, and is my food bowl down there? We moved his food bowl out to the different area, to the hallway, and of course he knew where it was, but it was like, you're the reason my food bowl is not in the kitchen. All this stuff laying right here is, you get to the end, that stuff slides, down the fiber supply while you're spinning, and you get to the end and that you don't want any of that in your. It's kind of nice that it doesn't automatically go into your spinning, but slides down there like that. Doesn't all do it, but enough of it. There's always something that goes in the trash. No, it's the jerk is me pulling from the fiber supply. Right here is the fiber supply, and this hand, that's why it's jerky. If I was doing a pinch and pull like this, it would look nice and smooth. Right? The fiber is clean. And it's a pretty loose bat. I did it on my drum carder. So instead of doing the pinch and pull for this, I am doing a semi woolen. And you're right, it's more of a jerky motion. Now, a true woolen I would pull with the backhand like this. And I can get away with it if the part of the. See, I can get away with the true woolen right here, but I can't always. And keep it thin and even, or keep it somewhat even. I can't always get away with it. And so I end up doing this where I pull out of the fiber supply. And you're right, that happens because the fiber supply isn't flowing as smooth as it could. When I get down towards the end here, I almost always go to a pinch and pull, though. There's not enough fiber to draft out woolen. Yeah, there is. There's always a lot to learn. It really is. But when I have a bat, I pretty much want some kind of woolen spinning, woolen, semi-woolen. I don't want to try worsted. That's from top, and because a bat, the fibers are not in line. They're all mixed up in a bat. And in top, the fibers are straightened out and pretty much in line. So that's the difference between woolen and worsted. To truly spin woolen like this, you have to have your spinning wheel set up to have quite a bit of pull, maybe more than some people are happy with. But if you see my hand here, this hand, I'm not pinching at all for a true woolen spinning. And I can go back and forth on it with this. I'm not worried about it being exact. So that's a true woolen, right? When it just glides over my hand and the fiber supply is pulled out. It doesn't. When you watch videos of people spinning woolen, you will see them go, like this with their hand, and the fiber go way back. You don't have to do that, and it's very hard on your arm to spin that way. Really, it's faster, but who needs faster, right? didn't have anything left over there. Any nibs or nubs or whatever. One of the things that is interesting is in order to spin a true thick and thin yarn, where you intentionally and pretty consistently put a thicker area to your yarn, you have to know how to do this kind of drafting. There's a little bit different way that you hold your yarn, and I'm not good at it. It has to do with the staple length of the fiber that you're using and how you pull it out so that you get a thicker area. But that's another thing altogether and not what I'm doing here. But that is something, if you really want to do that art yarn style yarn, it helps to know how to do the woolen spinning. Okay, this is the end of the bats that I'm going to put on this one. I'll change bobbins. And then before I start on the other one, I'm going to show what I have in my spinning bag. Upcoming spinning. Not today. Nether streams. I can put my scale up. I need to put a leader on this. Let me do that. Oh, wow. That was stupid. I just dumped all that dirt right on my slacks and on the tabletop. And hubby wonders why I sweep in here so much. At least it's a small room to sweep. I'm going to try a standard tie-it leader first. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll do the lark's head. It's pretty good and tight. Now these bobbins did not come with the wheel. They are made for the Aura. They're 3D printed. And, oh my gosh, I'm not sure I can remember the name here. It did 'em. It'll come to me. Maybe I need to Google that. Aker Works, Aker. And I don't know if it's Works, WORKS, or WORKZ. Aker Works, that's their name. Yeah, thank you, Snoring Cat. Hi. And Cherry Ham's over here going, Aker Works. I love them. I like them. The only thing I ran into is, this area where they're made to come off of the shaft. This part pops off, and I don't like popping them off because the little ball bearing that holds it in place there wears down and it won't stay in place. So that's my only thing I don't like. Otherwise, I like them a lot. I liked the fact I could take them apart, but now I don't take them apart because it's too hard, too much wear on them. I don't want to replace them just because I'd been taking them apart. So that's my opinion. I like the lightweight and they spin fine. They spin really good. How you doing, Snoring Cat? Staying warm? Okay, I'm gonna spin the other bats on that in a minute, but let me put the camera on the table and show you some of the stuff that I've got coming up. Because I'm still spinning up the odd bits and bobs that were hanging around from the 52 Weeks of Sheep. So that's some of this is some of that reason I'm doing this. This is Suffolk that I was doing all the breed studies. It was way too sticky, so I washed it again. So it just has this little bit that I got to do some carded and some combed, and I'll do it on the Roberta. So that's a breed study on Suffolk, which was not part of the 52 Weeks of Sheep, but I got included in, I think, the downbreed study from Witchwood Fibers. I bought at a fiber fair. These people are no longer vending at fiber fairs. I don't know if dyedinthewool.biz is still in business or not, but hello, welcome, thank you for the follow. Orn VR, okay, you're up to VR. I mean, into VR, right? Snoring Cat says it's cold air and she's tired. She woke up after 3.5 hours and couldn't get back to sleep. So after tossing and turning for an hour, decided to see who was on Twitch. Aw, you were up so late. I'm sorry. Maybe a quick nap sometime. And she also said, I spent a ton of Suffolk when I was learning, back in the days when it was easiest to find the wool. And that's right. It's a local farmer wool because it is... this is Suffolk's because it's a meat sheep. And this is not real soft, but, it's definitely a good thing to spin. Reminds me very much of a coarser Romney, that sort of thing. Yep. I have never actually bought a Suffolk fleece. For all of the fleeces I have bought at fiber fairs and everything, they always were just general spinner flock fleeces, and because it was at a fiber fair, and I've never really gone to a farmer and said I need wool. Um, the Probably in the 70s when I was learning to spin, and I was given a raw fleece by a relative who was a farmer. Her husband was a farmer. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a Suffolk blend. And I made a royal mess of it learning on that fleece. Anyway, when I was going to fiber fairs a couple years ago, from this dyedinthewool.biz, I bought a fiber that I had never heard of called Lincoln Folk. Well, guess what it is? It is a blend of Lincoln and Suffolk, right? Lincoln Folk. So I have it in this gray color. Can't find the beginning here. I have it in this gray color, which is pretty, but again, not really next to the Skin Soft. Looks like, she's not saying top or roving. It really looks like roving to me. So I have it in this gray. These are 2-ounce bags, and I have it in white. So that's going to be fun. This feels like the Lincoln. You know how Lincoln has a silky, kind of not soft but silky feel? This feels like the Lincoln. The gray, not so much, but this white really does. So that's called Lincoln Folk, and it was from somebody's flock that had crossed the Lincoln and the Suffolk breed. Well, Snoring Cat, there's many a times I have snoozed off, gone to sleep, watching your stream, so feel free. Feel free. I hope you get some more rest. And then, okay, one more little bag. This is Gotland. There's 2 ounces here. Maybe say, it's GOT, so I figured it's Gotland. And it's very long wool, silky fill. I like the color. I love that silvery color. Oh, get on the camera. But it also is not going to be, and this is definitely top, I can see. And I think it's going to spin really, really fine. Oh, it's so smooth drafting. Oh my gosh, it's just like going to draft like a dream. So I don't know what that will eventually end up, but that was 2 ounces from the same vendor. I bought all three of these from the same vendor. Dyedinthewool.biz. Those will go quick. Give me 30-yard skeins maybe. 2-ply. I'll do it 2-ply. Just real quick spinning. This is Masham, and then I've already spun some. Masham is Masham, and it was white when I got it, like this. It's top, and it is again not. It's a long wool feel. All right, it has that silky, drafts really easily, but not next to the skin, soft. I dyed it, and I've got this braided up. I have it divided in half, so I've got this for one bobbin and this for the other bobbin. I'll have to double check that it's equal, but that's gonna be fun. Very similar to what I'm dyeing with the indigo dye. This was not indigo dyed; it was just acid dyed. Let me see and I have spun some of it. It was G&K Craft blue and leaf green mixed together. And then I added a little bit of cornflower blue because I wasn't getting the color I liked. So look at that. I actually wrote down what I used. That's pretty awesome. I don't always do that. So this, and one more. Wait, there's more. This I bought at a fiber fair. 2 bats. It has sparkles in it. It's soft. It's super soft. It's light and dark greens. Gonna be pretty, pretty, pretty. I don't think I have the name. Yes, I do. Sassy Bee Fibers. It's Polworth, Blueface Leicester, and Firestar. And it's called Lemus Lime. Not lemon limes, but Lemus. Whatever the word that is. That was at a fiber fair. And I just liked, oh, I love the colors. I really do. So I bought it from her. So those are all that I want to get spun before the end of March. We'll see. We'll see. All right. I don't know. You two probably didn't see the beginning, but this here is this Texel spun by Lock. So it's much smoother than what I'm spinning right now. And I pulled out all the locks that I had intact and washed them with the nylon net and kept them intact and spun the locks. So this is really nice. This actually feels like I could make a cowl or something. It's soft enough. Feels pretty good. And it's 13 wraps per inch, and there's about not quite 70 yards, more like maybe 68 yards in the two skeins there. So this is what it's going to look like, though, that I'm spinning this off-white. And I don't know. I'll probably dye all of this because of the yellow color to it. All right. Let me go ahead and get my thing back on my wheel. These are the bats I got left. I got 3 of them. It's a little one. So much falls out while I'm doing the drum carding, but not all of it by any means. Go the other way. Thank you. How's my camera here? There we go. Alright, feels like there could be just a tad more pull in. Hi, Veggie. Something's different. All right. I will say yes, something's different. Let me see if you guess it. I did. You get the gold star. You are the first person to notice. I have had people with streams on Sunday. Nobody noticed. This is the way I used to wear my hair pre COVID. And I just went ahead during the quarantine last March, through the summer. Up until the summer, I went ahead and just grew it out because I had been coloring my hair before that and I wanted to go ahead and grow it out. And so then summer hit and it just was right at the right length that when I was working outside, I could put it in a ponytail. And I really was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I kept it that way all through the holidays and all of that. And I hit January and it was like, I can't take this long hair anymore. There was long hair everywhere. It felt like my husband was complaining about it. So I went and called where I used to go all the time pre quarantine to see if my hairdresser that I have gone to for like 15 years, was okay and still working, and he was. I got my hair cut. Veggie! I'm glad you guys stopped by. A lot of times Tuesdays it's really dead here, you know? I really appreciate you stopping by. How you doing, Veggie? Haven't seen you for a minute. Seems like. Why is that the saying of the day? My daughter says that all the time. Haven't heard from you, Mom, for a minute. Well, yeah, it's been more than a minute. I don't get it. I guess it's the parody, the whatever. Sarcasm? I don't know. You've been yelling at the husband and the dog to get off my hair. They're not even in the room. Your hair is very long? Or you don't want to hear from them about, oh, you wouldn't hear from the dog. Anyway, I'm very happy with my haircut. I'm glad I got it cut. And I'm glad somebody finally noticed. Sarcasm. Yeah, it's sarcasm. Oh, junk. I don't have to worry about, some people say, oh, I don't want to get my hair cut. It takes me so long to grow it this way. My hair grows really fast and always has, so I don't have to worry about it if I don't like it. I made my next haircut appointment for June, um, and probably will keep it, but that's just because once I get it cut like this, going back and getting it shaped up again is always a good thing. So, it took hubby a while to. He wasn't happy I was growing my hair out. But I'm like, he kept saying, it doesn't cost that much. I'm saying, it has nothing to do with cost. It has everything to do with, I don't like the line that appears in having to go back every 6 weeks. You know, I'm not working anymore, I don't really have to look super good. I can just be comfortable, and I kind of like my hair gray. It doesn't bother me. He did say he was finally getting used to my hair being blonde. That's what he was said. I said, okay, if you think this is blonde. Although I will say I do have two colors of gray, and one of them is more of a blonde gray, and the other is a true silver gray. And I don't know. I asked my hairdresser, I said, why do I have that blonde gray after a certain point in the length of the hair? And he says, do you smoke? And I said, no, I don't smoke. He said, nicotine will do that. And I said, no, don't smoke. But I guess eventually that'll grow out too and be cut off. And I should have all the silver gray that I have at the roots now. Sleep schedule. I tell you, I cannot keep out of the bed if I'm cold. If I'm up and it's reasonably okay outside, but if the wind is blowing and it's blowing in this house, because it's a drafty house and I can't get warm, I'm just like, I'm going to bed. So I end up in bed way early, and then I wake up way early. But it isn't that I'm not getting sleep, it's just I'm on the wrong schedule for what is our normal life and what hubby sleeps. I'm just on a different schedule. I get things done though. I get up and I do a few things, and sometimes I crawl back in bed and sleep a little more. But I agree, winter disrupts my sleep routine more than summer does. I'm on a pretty regular schedule in the summer that is pretty consistent with the way I slept when I was working. But wintertime, I sleep more. I sleep odd hours. Seems to be a given. Um, they say don't lay in bed. If you can't sleep, don't lay in bed, right? Get up, do something, and you'll get yourself reset, and then probably sleep. So I do give it no electronics, no light, no nothing, for an hour. And if I'm still awake, then I get up. That's when the cat keeps me company because, you know, he's always willing to have his tummy rubbed, and that's very soothing for me too. But I understand what you're saying, Veggie. Sometimes you need to reset yourself, right? Yeah. It's very frustrating when you're tired. It really is. Was It's so much worse if you have to work, you know, work through it too. I need to move my meter here. Here we go. hubby's got a project for me. We went and got the wood. He's going to build me a bookcase for my craft room upstairs. There's also a bookcase downstairs that has spread, so the shelves won't sit on the thing anymore. And he's going to pull that together with, braces in the front of the shelves. At least that's what he says. So I need both bookcases. Oh, you guys are on alternating shifts. I haven't had that for a long time. My hubby was self-employed. Neither one of us work now, but he was self-employed, fixing appliances, and I was working a second shift, so I would start at 1 o'clock. He would leave the house around 11 and go out and start his work, and not really come home until a little bit before me or when I was getting home. We worked the same schedule, so for years, and it was nice. It was a really nice, easy way to start your morning. I didn't have to get up and get to work early. Neither did he, and neither one of us are morning people. So it fit our lifestyle really well. Now I'm more apt to be up earlier than him. You're blaming lockdown. Yeah. Well, we can blame it for everything. Good grief. I saw a funny on Facebook where it said, I'm not adding a year to my age because I didn't get to use 2020 as a year, so I'm not counting it. I thought that was pretty funny. You've seen that too, yeah. It probably was on Discord. Somebody's Discord. Oh, what's for lunch? I'm hungry. I have to figure out what I'm going to make for lunch. I need to make a salad is what I need to make. I have lettuce I need to use before we go to the store and get more. Pizza. Mmm. Heart-shaped pizza for Valentine's Day. We did that last week. Not the heart shape, but we got pizza last week. I try to not eat pizza too often, obviously, for calories. I tell you what I've been craving is cake. I don't want to bake a whole cake because hubby will eat half a piece and that's it. And then I'm looking at that cake, you know. It's like, oh, but man, I need to go to a restaurant and get a piece of cake. Trouble is, that's not something you see very often in a restaurant. Yeah, they have that lava cake, chocolate and chocolate and chocolate. But there's so many other good kinds of cakes. I like cake better than pie, actually. Pie's okay, but I like cake better. Uh oh, that didn't go well. There we go. You're a pie fan? I've made many apple pies in the day. I'll tell you, I have. Used to be one thing I would take to carry-ins. That's what I'm missing from. That's why I'm missing cake. That's what I'm missing is I used to have, a lot of carry-ins. Oh my gosh, the crew I worked with, we'd eat in a heartbeat and plan a spontaneous carry-in or whatever, and it was afternoon, so it'd be the supper meal. But I would have the morning to make something. That's when I got all the foods that I really like to eat that I can't. Hubby won't eat, and I don't want the whole thing around. I take it to the carry-in. That's what I'm missing. Have you ever tried freezing? Leftover cake. Pound cake. Yes, I freeze pound cake a lot. And I have made pound cake from scratch, and it's awesome. And I go ahead and freeze half of that. Um, Other cake with icing? No. I think that's the deal. A cake that isn't iced, yes, and if it's iced, no. I've never frozen it. You refuse to choose. Well, I could throw a tiebreaker in there. There's always cookies. Oh, what is a carrion? Huh. Okay. It's a meal where because it was a work crew, right? There'd be six of us, or maybe seven or eight, working that night, and everybody would bring something, a dish, and we would coordinate it just a little bit so that we didn't have everybody bringing in cake. We would say, here's a sign up sheet. You want to bring a vegetable, you want to bring. Sometimes people who didn't have time to cook would bring the paper plates, things to eat with, plates and forks and knives and stuff. That's a carry-in. Everybody brings something different. Like a potluck, absolutely. Yeah. I forgot the word potluck. That's probably more what people know. One of the cookies I made has become my new favorite. I made them over Christmas. There is a hotel chain here in the U.S. called Doubletree, and one of their deals is they gave you a cookie when you checked in, and they had a special recipe. So it's the Doubletree cookie, and I found a. They finally released the recipe, and I found it online, and this was hubby's. He just would always rave about, in the past, getting the Doubletree cookies. So I said, okay, I'm going to make them for Christmas this year. Well, he's right. They have two different kinds of chocolate chip and nuts, oatmeal. It's an amazing cookie. But what's really amazing, and I proved this, is they actually keep really well. And that's what they do, is they package them in a special round tin that holds 6 cookies, and they sell these cookies, and they keep that way. And I kept them for a long time in a regular Tupperware, and then when it got down to there were 6 left, I put them in a Ziploc. But seriously, they kept for a month and were harder. I mean, they're chewy anyway, but so they were crunchy instead of chewy, but they taste just fine. Tasted really good. So they're really good keeping cookies. Now, you asked me how I can have cookies for a month. First of all, it was a big recipe. But second of all, in spite of hubby raving and going on and saying, I love these cookies, etc., I think he ate over, I think he ate 6, right? And you're talking at least 4 dozen cookies. Well, I'm not, I put them in the freezer eventually. I put half of them in the freezer, and the part that I was leaving out for the month was the other half. I mean, there's still some in the freezer right now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to stick to my diet like I need to. I have to hide them. Do you know that they always have something every day? There is a day is some kind of day, you know. Like they say today is National Pizza Day. Okay. The other day, the day was it is eat ice cream for breakfast and grape nuts for supper. I was like, who makes these up? I'm all in with the ice cream for breakfast, but I don't eat grape nuts anyway. Cereal, any kind of cereal. They say grape nuts, but any kind of cereal. this has spun really better than I expected. The very first bat was not good. I'm not real sure. I must have had just a lot of the bad stuff in that bat. But this is, I'm really impressed how nice it spins. Woolen, semi woolen. And I'm happy to have my wheel tightened up and spinning better. So it's been a good day. Been a good spinning morning. You talk about, Snoring Cat was talking about couldn't sleep, wanted to see who was on Twitch. I have done that at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, my time. And it's really interesting because that's not when people do have the same times that they're on, right? I am not a 3 a.m. streamer, right? So people who are on then aren't going to really see my streams. Well, it's the same way. People that are on at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, yeah, I never see their streams. So I was really checking out a lot of non English streams because Europe and Asia are on at that time. So, hello, Head Full of Bees. You're spinning. Welcome. You're spinning hand dyed Corridel. It's a bit tight from the dye pot, but not so tight I'll complain to the seller, who otherwise makes lovely stuff. Awesome. Welcome. I'm glad you stopped and chatted a little bit. I saw your follow, and you weren't. I don't think I was actually streaming when you followed, and I saw it later, and I appreciate that. What wheel you spin on? You guys stick around a little bit. I will be getting off here shortly after I finish this up, but I want to do a raid. I so seldom have enough viewers that it's a good raid. I want to see who's on and maybe raid somebody. So stick around, please, for a raid. If anybody wants to look on Twitch and see if there's somebody you can recommend, feel free to. You have a Lendrum. Okay. Oh my gosh. Very, very fast flyer. Yeah, well, and you can spin very thin on the fast flyer also. Or are you spinning a bulky? Yeah, Lendrum or I must confess, that's a wheel I have not ever had, although my daughter does. She has a Lendrum. You dream of an e-spinner that can actually go as fast as you want. That's my question. Are you spinning bulky, fast, or you just have a general. We all have a thickness that we spin without thinking. It's in our fingers, and that's what we spin. And if you're spinning fast, that's probably what you're doing, not having to think about it. So you manage singles that will get me to a worsted or Aran, but the bobbins are only 2 ounces. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's really limiting. You are right. That's pretty. That's like when I had my Haldane. That's exactly the way they were little bobbins. The Haldane. Your default is a sport weight, long draw. Yeah, very fast flyers. Veggie says very fast flyers scare me. I have not spun on an accelerated wheel. It is something on my to-do list, my spinning bucket list, preferably at a fiber fair or something like that, so that I can just, or if we ever have gatherings of spinners again, somebody that has one. But I want to see what it feels like to spin on an accelerated wheel. But it's going to be a huge difference to go from that Lendrum to an e-spinner. Spinning fast on an e-spinner is only going to add a lot of twist. It's not, there is some quickness to it, but and if you're getting the Nano, you're not going to have the big bobbins again. But of course, the Nano is the good price point. So that was what sold me. I tried the Ashford 3 e-spinner at a Fiberfest, and it was a very well engineered piece. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's a bigger. You could get the tension purse, and it stopped on a dime. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly right. I have a Roberta, which is an electric spinner, and what I have always said about it is it doesn't matter what fiber I have in my hand, it will spin it without me fiddling with it. It just, but it is an acquired taste because it's bobbin driven, which means there's a lot of pull in. So you have to keep up with the pull in, or you get a lot of extra twist. But I haven't tried the Ashford e-spinner. I haven't been in the market for another electric. I have the one I want and use all the time. The newer Nano has 8 ounces. Oh, that's good to know. Hubby's been saying, get the Nano. It's, easier to travel with and all that. But haven't felt the need to do that. We're not traveling that much to begin with. Yeah, I agree. The 8 ounce, I gotta look at that because that is nice. That's the equivalent of what I would say my Roberta probably is more like 6 ounces per bobbin, depending on how thick I spin. So I have these two bobbins of this. I will let them sit till tomorrow. Ply them tomorrow. Thursday, I will stream Thursday evening, 7 p.m. And I've been doing Throwback Thursdays, and it's not about spinning. It is about old time crafts and that sort of thing. I did last couple Thursdays. I did Battenberg lace. Going to do something different this Thursday, but it's probably going to be knitting a very old fashioned, or a very old pattern of lace is probably what it's going to be. That's my time, 7 p.m. and my time right now is 1:30 p.m. So you can judge based on what time it is for you. And of course, if you're following, you'll get a notification that I'm on. So that'll be the next stream, Thursday evening. And then Sunday afternoons, I always stream from 3 to 5 p.m. So that's the afternoon, very close to around what this time is now. I mean, it's only 1:30 right now, so a couple hours from now. On Sunday afternoons. So I encourage all of you to come back. I really appreciate that you came here today. Anybody look at Twitch and see if anybody is streaming we want to go raid? I'm really happy. I got all that spun. That was great. But I need to go and move around. I've been on for 2.5 hours here now. What craft do you like best with your hand spun? Is it knitting or something else? I don't weave because I don't have a loom, with the exception of a small tabletop loom. So yes, it's all been pretty much knitting. So there has been some other little things that I've tried here and there, but I think I would say almost all of it that I've been doing is knitting. And I like knitting with my hand spun. You have to watch your patterns, of course, and your gauge and everything. Change needle sizes or whatever. This last fall, I made a hand spun and hand knitted Christmas stocking that was an exchange gift, and it was interesting. I kept thinking, oh, this is getting too big. I was using size for the gauge, and I was like, it's going to get really big. But all of the stocking patterns nowadays are really big. They don't make kind of petite Christmas stockings like you see from the 50s when they were knitting them, and they were color work and all that. Those weren't as big as what the Christmas stocking patterns are now. That's just my little 2 cents about Christmas stocking patterns, but that's the most recent thing I made with my hand spun yarn. I have tons of hats and mittens and scarves and all that for me. Nice to catch up with you, Sheraham. Thank you. Snoring Cat, you're back just in time for Yarn Spinner. Veggie, you're funny. I know I'm on, but I can't read myself. All right, I'll take a look and see what we got here, because I would like to pass on some viewers. I so seldom have any. Isn't that terrible? That's a terrible thing to say. Where's Twitch? I may have to turn the sound down here. Head full of bees. You are not online. Yarncraft Corner she says she's spinning. Let me check and see if she's spinning. Well, as soon as we get past the ad here.
Samsung Galaxy S21 is on Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband, available in parts of many cities. It's ridiculously fast. Buy Samsung Galaxy S21 plus 5G.
Oh, that wasn't nice. Come back. All right. She's knitting. Oh yeah, I mean that's not bad, but she's knitting. X Monster Berry is diamond dotting.
Little Japanese folk
Calyx
Japanese.
Creative is doing her origami.
Oh, we're going in this direction. I'll be going over here where I'm not doing it.
Cottontail's Art is doing piggy things. I don't know what that is.
It's not time for World War II. I like totally revisiting.
Unboxing stream. Crocheting. Huh. I tell you what, not many spinners in the group
At least that's my feelings.
right now. Crowd playing a game. Pottery stream. Oh, it's Scottish. Would you like Scottish?
That's the thing. Just because it's one of somebody else, although they're
You could
probably
start
gonna
streaming. You don't know how a raid works.
do stuff that
Sure.
comes in,
We'll that
certainly I will know.
a raid just brings the viewers to your stream, is what it does.
And we'll about it later.
Let's see what making piggy things is. Oh, she's sewing. Okay. Well, I'm waiting to hear from you. Headful of Bees, if you do that, I'll raid you, and then you could see what it's like to have a stream come to your raid. A raid come to your stream. Talk about saying that backwards. You have to move a lamp. I'm no hurry. No problem. I haven't watched any of your streams. I need to. I am following you. I haven't had a chance to catch up on any. It's pizza time. Thank you. I'm so glad you brought pizza, Veggie. Thank you. You even got my favorite kind with veggies. The last pizza we got, I had to. Let me put this on full face. Last pizza, I had to get a meat pizza for my hubby. That's what he likes. Anyway. Now watch. Headful of Bees, if you don't have it set right to allow raids, it won't work. So you may have to check your settings also to see if you allow raids, because if you don't, it won't let you raid. Oh, hello. Well, I was talking about pizza. I was thanking you for bringing pizza. And Twitch just died. I had Twitch open and it just died. Am I? I think I'm still recording here. Oh, I can't take jalapenos. I'm so sorry. You can have that. Well, I think the Scottish pottery stream sounds pretty neat. Oh, my goodness, they're chatting in Russian. Oh, I have to put my headphones on. Can't hear it otherwise. You guys, this is pretty fun. Okay, head full of bees, that's great. That is funny. Oh, I see your spinning wheel, head full of bees. All right. Now, okay, you guys, see you later. Thanks for stopping by, and let's see if I can get this to work. Great. Oops. Head full of bees, your name is hard to type. Got it. All right. See you later, guys.